When you think of the biggest games on Roblox, one name probably comes to mind: Blox Fruits. It's not just a game, it's an absolute titan, a phenomenon that has dominated the platform for years, but its journey to the top? Well, it wasn't a straight line. It was a wild story of huge risks, community backlash, and a whole lot of beautiful, game-breaking chaos.
So the big question is, how did it happen? How did a project that started with so much controversy become the undisputed king of Roblox? In this explainer, we are going to unpack the entire history of Blox Fruits, from a game nobody seemed to want to the absolute legend it is today. Okay, so our story really kicks off with two key figures. A couple of developers who were already pretty successful, but they were willing to risk it all for something much, much bigger.
I want you to just imagine this for a second. You've got these established, popular games with tons of active players. The smart move is to just keep updating them, right? Keep the fans happy. Well, My Game 43 and Rip Indra basically threw that logic out the window. They just completely abandoned their biggest projects to chase one single, unproven idea that they thought could change everything. So, let's fast forward to June 2019. The game is finally out, but it's not called Blox Fruits yet. Nope, it's called Blox Peace, and the community? Oh, they were not happy about it.
I mean, the reaction was absolutely brutal. Players felt totally abandoned. They'd spent years supporting the developers' other games, like the super popular Elemental Battlegrounds, and all they wanted were updates for those. Instead, they get this new thing they never even asked for. Yeah, success was looking pretty unlikely at this point.
But then, a really weird thing started to happen. The players who actually stuck around, they started messing with the game. You know, poking it, pushing its limits, trying to break it. And in doing that, they kind of accidentally started making it a legend. These weren't just bugs anymore. They were basically becoming unintentional features.
So one of the very first big discoveries was this thing called the no-clip glitch. And it was actually surprisingly simple. If you combined a specific camera angle with a little teleport ability called Flash, you could trick the game's collision and just walk right through solid walls. It was a foundational exploit that really opened the door for everything that came next. And believe me, it got even crazier from there. Soon after, players figured out that if you used the chop fruit ability and then quickly switched to a sword, you'd become this blur, just zipping around at impossible speeds. It was pure chaos, completely unbalanced. And you know what? It was so much fun. The game's unintentional chaos was fast becoming its biggest selling point.
Okay, so this is where we get to the real turning point. We're in late 2019 now, and a couple of key decisions just completely changed the game's path, taking it from a controversial experiment to an absolute juggernaut. First up, the name. The community had been absolutely roasting the name Blox Peace, just relentless. So, on Christmas 2019, the devs finally switched it to Blox Fruits. And it sounds like a small change, right? But it happened at the exact same time the game's popularity just exploded. Perfect timing. And number two, the content. The second C update, look, this wasn't just some patch. It was basically a whole sequel. It added 5 new islands, a whole new world to explore. It raised the level cap, introduced these awesome factory raids for free fruits, and for the very first time, it added mythical items. This was incredibly rare gear that players would grind for literally hundreds of hours just to get. The game was suddenly massive. But even with all this amazing new content, players kept doing what they did best: breaking the game. And that led to the legendary Buddha glitch. You just had to follow a few simple steps and you could achieve pure high-speed mayhem. You were like this zooming rocket-powered cheetah. For years, this one glitch pretty much defined how you moved around the game, and the devs were in this constant cat-and-mouse game trying to patch it. All right, this brings us to what I'd call the game's golden age. The glitches were one thing, but now the developers themselves started getting in on the fun. And the line between being an admin and being a player got really, really blurry. Seriously, just picture it. You're just playing, minding your own business, and bam, an admin spawns a killer boss right on top of you. Or they make it rain super valuable fruits from the sky for everybody. Or, and this is my personal favorite, they just turn the entire map into Brazil. For fun. This wasn't a bug, this was like live performance art. And the admins, they were also kind of like hype men, always teasing stuff that no normal player could ever get their hands on. They'd show off these secret admin-only worlds or unleash these insane powers like the triple dark blade. It made the game world feel infinitely deep, like there were always more secrets hiding just beneath the surface.
And this whole vibe, this culture of chaos and weird generosity, it inspired some serious dedication from players. Get this, one player spent 400 hours. That's more than 2 weeks straight, grinding on alt accounts. And for what? He gave every single fruit he found away to random players, just to be part of that crazy community. And the scale here was just mind-blowing. Think about the first crew to hit a 1 billion bounty, a huge achievement in the game. They literally couldn't have done it under normal rules. The clan size limit was just too small. So what happened? Staff members actually joined the crew themselves, breaking their own rules just to help these players make history. That's how blurred the lines had become.
So that brings us to the modern era. The game has this incredible foundation of community and chaos, right? It's soaring to heights nobody thought was possible, but that success also brought some massive new problems. In early 2023, the Race v4 update drops, and the game hits nearly 1 million players online at the same time. I mean, that number is just staggering. But then, right after that peak, it gets hit by this huge hacking incident that completely demolished the map and added jump scares. It was a big reminder that even when you're on top, you're always a target. And yet, the game keeps going. History is still being written every single day. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought, doesn't it? In a gaming world that's obsessed with perfection and polish, Blox Fruits clawed its way to #1 with glitches, trolls, and a community that loved to break things. It really makes you wonder, maybe the secret ingredient to a legendary game isn't control. Maybe it's just embracing a little bit of beautiful chaos.